most blatant case of favoritism you've experienced? You ever watch someone throw away your shot at something big just because you're not part of their circle? That was me junior year, standing in the hallway as our editor skimmed the submissions pile and slid mine right to the bottom without a second look. I knew right then that being good wasn't enough. At my school, you had to be connected. The journal was everything that year. The school said the best piece would go to a national competition. The winner would get published, maybe land a scholarship, and pretty much guarantee a shot at college. It wasn't just bragging rights. For some of us, it was the kind of chance you don't get twice. I'd spent weeks on my story. I wrote about my mom, who'd spent whole months barely able to get out of bed, and how I found hope in the small stuff she did. I edited it until my eyes hurt. I even let my English teacher read it, and she said, "This is the best work you've ever done." For the first time all year, I felt like maybe I actually had a shot. When the acceptance list went up, I held my breath. I scanned for my name once, twice, a third time. Nothing. My heart was pounding in my chest. The names I saw instead belonged to the editor's friends. One girl barely showed up for meetings. She told her friends she'd written her poem at midnight and called it good enough. I waited until everyone else was gone, then walked up to the editor and said, "Can I ask why my story didn't get picked?" She scrolled on her phone and said, "It just didn't fit the theme this year. Maybe next time." She never even looked at me. I felt like I'd just gotten punched in the gut. All I wanted was to go home and forget about it, but I couldn't shake the feeling something was off. I grabbed a copy of the journal from the library and flipped to the poem by that girl. It sounded weirdly familiar. I pulled out my phone, typed a few lines into the search bar, and there it was, a post from years ago. Every line the same. She hadn't just rushed her poem. She'd stolen it. The next day, I printed both versions and brought them to my teacher. I put them on her desk and said, "I think something really unfair happened." She read both, and her face got tight. She looked at me and said, "You did the right thing by showing me this." That week, the teacher called everyone from the journal to a meeting. She put both poems up on the projector and waited. Nobody said a thing. The air in the room felt thick. The teacher said, "All the entries will be reviewed again. The editor's stepping aside while we do this." The editor just stared at her desk. They reopened submissions. I fixed a few lines in my story, but honestly, I wondered if there was even a point. Still, I sent it in. When the new list came out, I finally saw my name. I was so shocked I had to read it twice. My story would go to the national competition. I didn't win first place, but I got an honorable mention and a spot at a writing camp that summer. After that, the editor still showed up to meetings, but she hardly spoke. The girl who plagiarized stopped making eye contact. She never said sorry. If anything, she just seemed embarrassed to have been caught. Now, when I look back, I know speaking up was the right move. It sucks that favoritism can bury real work, but I learned that sometimes the truth gets through even if it takes a fight.